Okay, so click tracks. I was just setting up for a session, and as usual, in discussions with the band, the subject of click tracks comes up, and I always give the same advice. So this notion of recording everything to a click and having it recorded perfectly in time is a relatively new idea. It's come around in the last couple of decades with the rise in digital audio productions, and personally I believe the idea of recording everything to a click track is fundamentally flawed. Musicians, they just don't play in time. It's completely unnatural to have a recording that is perfectly in time, and one of the problems you'll find with recording to a click track is that you are having difficulty staying in time. Only now, because you're all playing in isolation, you're not playing together, so you're going in and out of time at different times, whereas if you were playing together you'd perhaps sway in and out of time together, and it's unnoticeable when you listen back. If you're doing everything in isolation to a click track, as a musician you're sitting there, you're listening to the click, you're concentrating on that, and you're not concentrating on the dynamics of your performance. You know, you might get to a part of the song where the singer starts singing with more emotion, they're singing a little bit harder, the musicians are playing a little bit harder, and these are the dynamics of performance, which you just don't tend to get in modern contemporary productions anymore, simply because everyone's going into the studio with the assumption that we're just going to record everything to a click track and everything in isolation. We'll snap it to the grid, it'll all be technically perfect. But unfortunately the results are you end up with a dynamically flat song with absolutely no performance in it, no life at all. And this is my personal opinion of why a lot of modern contemporary music sounds a bit crap. There's nothing necessarily wrong with the songs themselves. It's the method of recording has essentially made them really boring and dull sounding. Everything's completely flat. Everything uses the same modern, thin digital productions, and the results are there for everyone to hear. So, I mean, the purpose of a click or a metronome is it is simply a tool. It's a tool to be used under a certain set of circumstances, and those circumstances are if the band, the musicians, are having difficulty getting through a particular part of the song while staying in time. So there may be a change in time signature. They may just be speeding up naturally, and it's speeding up a little bit too quick. And when you can hear it listening back, that's when you fall back onto getting the metronome out and having them play to a click. I certainly wouldn't recommend just going into the studio and automatically busting out the metronome and having everyone record to a click. Literally, the click track is simply just a tool to be used under circumstances where it's needed. You know, you shouldn't really be recording everything to a click track. Like I say, this notion has come around in the last couple of decades with the rise in digital audio workstations and digital recording, where everything's snapped to the grid and done in perfect timing because we can do it. Simply because we can do it doesn't mean we should. You know, music naturally is not perfectly in time, so when you force it to be perfectly in time, it sounds a little bit odd. It sounds unnatural. It sounds, like I say, without the performance dynamic of playing together. The result is just going to be a flat and unnatural robotic sound. And who wants that? I mean, seriously. Is that what you really want? I mean, you're going to go and play these songs live, right? When you're playing live, you're not going to be perfectly in time, but providing you're decent enough musicians, which you should be if you're going into a recording studio and having your songs recorded, you're going to be in time enough that nobody's going to notice where you're out of time. You're going to move in and out of time together. It will sound perfect to the audience, and the performance will have dynamics and be interesting to listen to, unlike most contemporary songs. Now, of course, if you are working on your own, maybe you're not part of a band, you're maybe putting together some demo tracks, or maybe you're just like a sole artist and you're going to be playing all the parts yourself, you're recording them in your bedroom through your digital interface, that's fine. Those are the perfect circumstances where you can fully utilise digital technology to its full extent. And doing it that way to a click track would be a perfectly reasonable thing to do because you're playing all the parts in isolation yourself. But if you're in a band, really there's no excuse for not playing together. The final product is going to suffer for it. So yeah, that's enough of a whinge for today. I'll try and have a think about other things I can whinge about. For now, that's me out.